Hi, welcome to Healthy Living. I'm Amy Bouton, Director of Communication and Marketing for St. Tammany Health System. Today on Healthy Living, we're going to talk about summertime care for you and your family and all the things we have to offer. And so I have three special guests joining me today. We're going to start with Stacy Foster. Stacy is our Director of St. Tammany Physicians Network and Primary Care Clinics. So welcome, Stacy. Thank you so much for being here with us today. So tell us a little bit about you, first of all.
So I started my career at St. Tammany Health System 16 years ago as the manager of the Covington Primary Care Clinic. And I'm happy to be here to share with you and everyone how we have grown and we continue to grow.
We are in a large period of growth right now, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So what's your specific role with the health system now?
So I am director of all of our primary care clinics. We have 4 of those clinics currently, Mandeville, Madisonville, Covington, and Folsom.
Okay, so when we say St. Tammany Physicians Network, and we specifically talk about primary care, that's exactly what it is. It's a network of care for your whole family, really.
Correct.
So just kind of elaborate on that a little bit, if you don't mind.
It encompasses family care, family practice, as well as pediatrics. So in our 4 clinics, we have 35 physicians, and I'm happy to share that we will be growing and adding 4 new physicians over the summer.
Oh, great. So that's more access for more folks. So tell us about the locations, particularly the ones that you are director of.
Okay. So Mandeville, Madisonville, Covington, Folsom.
Okay.
All primary care. We see all ages. And in the Mandeville and Madisonville location is pediatrics.
Okay.
We've encompassed those 2 into those clinics.
All right, so let's talk about that for a minute, pediatric care. So how many pediatricians do we have on staff at St. Tammany Physicians Network?
Currently we have 5 pediatric physicians in Madisonville and Mandeville.
Okay.
Our goal is really to have primary care and pediatrics closer to home.
And that way, when you go with your child, you can possibly squeeze in your adult appointment as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So what does that look like? If somebody wants to get in with a pediatrician, how do they start with y'all?
So we have access through MyChart, our website, and call in our number. It's 898-4001. And just reaching out, and our website actually has all of our physicians, so you can, study that, read it, and learn who we have. And our staff is happily to schedule.
Okay.
We're in clinic Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and then we do have express care, which is after hours and on weekends.
Okay, and express care can be for adults and for children, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So when you talk about both clinics and the pediatricians that are available, I know as a parent, when my children, especially when they were younger, sometimes they just wake up and they'd have this random fever, or they'd be sick, or they'd feel ill, and I would want to get in the very same day. So what is that like? What does that look like for a parent?
So we have same-day access, and our pediatricians understand that kids randomly will have those kind of symptoms, and in the middle of the night, early mornings. And so we do have same-day access in both clinics, and also walk-ins are welcome.
Okay.
We make sure that there is availability. Again, in the middle of the night, scheduled appointment can be done on MyChart 24/7.
Okay, so if your child does wake up in the middle of the night 6, just get online and plug in that appointment. Well, that's great. So let's talk a little bit about primary care for adults.
Okay.
Okay, so what does that look like?
So our primary care clinics, we do, obviously we have, our goal is wellness visits. We want to keep our patients well. So we do, recommend everyone come in once a year and have that wellness check.
Right.
Make sure you get all those screenings done. And then we also, obviously have acute care. And so those physicians as well will keep some availability on same day so that we can see those patients same day.
Okay.
We also have express care, like I said, which is our after hours primary care. We're open Monday through Friday, 1 to 9, Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 5.
And we were actually talking about express care yesterday because my family used it recently for my daughter, and it was very convenient because she didn't get off work until 5, and she didn't have enough time in the day to make a doctor's appointment and see a doctor during her lunch hour. So she went in there and she used the Express Care. And we were talking about not just for acute things, but also for your primary care visit that you were just talking about. Tell us about that.
Correct. So if you need to be seen, and everybody has a busy schedule, and sometimes normal office hours aren't convenient. So we do office hours after. You can do those wellness visits. You can, if you're being seen regularly by a physician and, you need a med refill that potentially, you can't get in during those office hours.
Right.
We're welcome to schedule them during those off hours.
And this is a primary care clinic. So that is different from an urgent care, which affects the way you pay your bill.
Correct.
Okay.
We bill as a primary care clinic, not an urgent care. So in some cases, patients, have different levels of copays based on what they're billed as.
Right.
And so our clinic is a primary care clinic. And so we bill as a primary care copay.
And I think another plus to the primary care, even if you do go to Express Care after hours, is that all of your records are in there. So if you saw a doctor at another primary care clinic, the doctor that's at Express Care
is able to access your previous visits, medications, and any other testing that may have been done prior to by that primary care physician. We also at Express Care do point of care testing, which will include COVID tests, flu tests, strep, mono, and urinalysis. So
full care.
Yes, so you're able to do that in that clinic.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Now, where is the Express Care Clinic located?
So our Express Care Clinic is at 80 Gardenia Drive, which is in Covington. We're about a mile away from the hospital. And, we like to say that, if there's a non-acute issue that, you don't need to go to the emergency room, Express Care is that option.
Yeah, and it's a great option, like we talked about, because it's not the urgent care, and it's going to be familiar doctors to you. So, and familiar staff.
Yes.
We also have something that we want to touch on pretty quickly called Virtual Care Now. So what is Virtual Care Now?
So Virtual Care is our online appointment using an iPhone, smartphone, and going through the MyChart app, where you can have an office visit from the convenience of your home or work, lunchtime, and be able to get that visit in for non-acute issues. Some symptoms could be cold and flu, allergy, sinus, urinary tract infections, pink eye, stomach aches, and even rashes. Because you're doing it virtual, they can see that rash and be able to treat you.
Okay.
And we offer that Monday through Friday, 9 to 9, and Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 5.
Okay, so that's a wonderful option, especially in the summertime.
Correct.
We're all active. Stuff happens on the weekends.
Right. Yeah. And so it's an option that, you can't get to the clinic or just a quick virtual visit. We want that to be an option. So, and that can be booked on MyChart or through our website or by calling 898-4001.
Okay, wonderful. Is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
So I think too, we also want our patients to know that we are expanding. We're wanting to bring their care closer to home, closer to work, because we are in Mandeville and Madisonville and Folsom and Covington. And because you see a physician in Mandeville but you work in Folsom, you could basically, if you needed an acute visit, could be seen in either office. And your records are there. Your primary care doctor can see if you saw one physician, and then that physician you may be seeing just for that one-time acute visit will be able to see those records from your primary care physician.
Okay, so we got you covered.
Yes.
It's a network, and we are going to take care of you within that network.
Correct.
Depending on your needs.
Yes, and any testing, even emergency room visits, if you're seen in the emergency room visit and you need a follow-up, all those records are in the same system. So we're able to, see everything and get the whole picture.
It's a nice continuum of care. That's good. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Stacy, for joining us.
And thank you.
Talking about the primary care clinics, and we appreciate you. We will be right back, and we're going to be with Joe St. Philip He is our Director of Emergency Services. He runs our Mandeville Emergency Department. So we're going to talk to Joe in just a minute, so stay with us.
Many blessings abound here on the North Shore. There's so much to discover right in our backyards. Things that make life feel a whole lot better. Like world-class ortho care at St. Tammany Health System. Many stars. Many stripes. Many reasons we're number one.
Welcome back to Healthy Living. Our next guest is Joe St. Philip. Joe is the Director of Emergency Services, and he for our offsite Mandeville Emergency Department. So thank you, Joe, for coming and being with us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself first. Let's talk about you for just a second.
Well, Amy, thank you for having me. Well, about myself, I'm from Mandeville. I'm graduated from Mandeville High, so I'm a skipper. I've been in healthcare for about 20 years. The last 5 years, I've had the privilege of working for St. Tammany Hospital. And for about the past 2 years, I've been over the Mandeville Offsite Emergency Department.
Okay, so your role, you basically are in charge of that whole facility, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I don't know how many people know, I know about it. How long has the Mandeville Emergency Department been there?
So we're going on almost 5 years now. It's been in Mandeville. It's a great location. It's located right across from Mandeville Post Office. Off of Highway 190 between CVS and Bippos.
Okay, so it's right there, right in the heart, lots of neighborhoods around it, lots of other things around it. And like you said, we've been there for 5 years.
Yes,
so it is, it's kind of like tucked away and, you know, it's right there. There's not a lot of flashing lights and sirens and things, but it is a full service emergency department, open 24/7.
So full service, just like if you went to St. Tammany Parish Hospital and the ER there, it's basically they just cut that out and set it in Mandeville as a standalone facility. We still have patients that come in today and be like, oh, I didn't know y'all were here. So still trying to get the word out to the community. It's a great, it's a great service that we're able to offer to the community and for the citizens of Mandeville. So it's a fully functional emergency room. We run labs, any type of radiology type diagnostic testing. We can work, anybody up to rule out, the acute, illness that's going on or emergency.
So, I mean, you can go in there from anything for a sprained ankle to an appendicitis attack, basically.
Yes, ma'am.
And get cared for. So, it's also conveniently located around some of our, like Pelican Park and things like that. It's just a few minutes away. So, tell people, we do get confused sometimes with an urgent care. So, there's a difference between an ED and an urgent care, and this is not an urgent care. So what's the difference? What should people know?
Yeah, so we're emergency rooms. So we are, one of the biggest differences, we are open 24/7, 7 days a week, holidays, weekends. We're there. Urgent care is going to see a lot of, say, your minor type stuff. Scrapes, bruises. I mean, even some different, fractures or broken bones. For emergency room, you want to think of the severe things like severe chest pain. If you're having, heart attack type symptoms, stroke symptoms, any type of, severe bleeding or respiratory issues, especially, around certain times of the year with the weather and the asthma and everything like those that will start up. Anything with allergic reaction, excuse me, abdominal pain, dehydration, talking about the summertime safety
Sure.
right now. Those are definitely a lot of the top things that you would come to the emergency room for. And for, like I said, urgent care, just your minor, bumps and bruises, burns or scratches and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so we want people to know this is an actual emergency room. It's just like if you would go to St. Tammany Health System's flagship St. Tammany Hospital emergency room, you're going to get the same care. And if for some reason, you do need to go to the hospital, we will make sure you get there. Just kind of tell people, kind of give them that safety net assurance.
Yeah, so for peace of mind, we are a standalone facility, so we don't have beds. But what we'll do is we'll come in, we'll work you up, we'll rule out all of the emergent type stuff. If something does require to be admitted to the hospital, we will transfer you to the main hospital.
And you'll be stabilized.
You'll be
right?
stabilized, and then we'll transfer you, have you admitted to a room there, or sometimes ER to ER, depending on what's going on. But just peace of mind that any life-threatening condition or anything like that, we will have you transferred immediately to get you to the main hospital.
So we were talking a little bit ago that, obviously we're in the middle of a heat wave. It's going to get worse. So what are some types of things you're seeing right now, and what can people do to prevent coming to see you for heat-related illnesses?
Well, definitely with summertime, we're averaging 90s, the heat index well above 100. Just hydration, just stay hydrated, and not alcohol-type hydration, but just water, your Powerade, your Gatorade, things with electrolytes in it. And just be mindful of being outside. You're sweating. You don't realize that after 30, 45 minutes how much you've already lost. So just really just be safe. Wear your sunscreen, wear your hats, your long clothing to help protect your skin. And just be mindful of your surroundings. If you're out, with 4th of July, right around the corner, right? It's gonna be a lot of boating, a lot of drinking going on. So just be smart about it, and wear your life jackets in swimming pools. You're gonna be around kids. Just keep an eye on everything, and just overall safety. But hydration is gonna be one of the biggest things to get through the summer.
And that's for adults and children. And you
Adults,
did
all
mention
ages.
children, and we want to make it clear that the emergency room in Mandeville sees all ages. So you
see all ages.
You probably see lots of children.
We
I
see
would
from
imagine.
newborns, pediatrics, all the way to geriatrics. So we cover the lifespan.
So we are full service freestanding ED. So we want to make sure that people know that. And let's think of is there any other things you want people to know about the Mandeville ED, about its convenience, its location, the staff you have on hand?
Yeah, so we have a great team. It's an awesome team all around. As far as we do have some resources out there if you want like wait times. It's always a question about wait times. So
Right.
we have the website through St. Tammany, and also in the app, in our St. Tammany app, that'll kind of give an idea what the wait times look like, which those can change a little bit because people come in at different times, and you can have 2 or 3, and before you know it, 15 or 20 people. So
Right.
That'll kind of help give you a guide to it. And as far as trying to figure out the differences between primary care, urgent care, and emergent care, on our website you can find it, also in our pamphlets in our physician offices. They do have a handout. And then on the after visit summary, which is the AVS, when someone's discharged, it does have it on the back sheet, the differences of each one.
Okay, good. Well, thank you so much, Joe, for being with us. Again, we are located, let's say the address.
2929 Highway 190.
US I-119, right across from the Mandeville Post Office, right in the heart of that Mandeville area, just a couple of minutes from Pelican Park and a lot of the neighborhoods around there. So we want people to know we've been there for 5 years, taking care of you and your families, and we're there if you need us this summer. So thank you for joining us,
Well, thank you for having me.
and thanks for this great information. So stay with us on this episode of Healthy Living. We are going to come back with Marla Rabelais. She is from the Parenting Center, and we're going to talk again about summer safety mostly for your children. So stay with us.
Kids should be seen and heard.
At St. Tammany Health System,
Many kids are being treated like, well, kids. We're not little adults, you know.
they have the North Shore's first kids-only ER.
And ICU. They even have a parenting center.
Kids aren't the only ones who need to go to school.
Together with their partner, Oxnard Health, St. Tammany Health System makes it easy to be on our side. On this side of the lake.
Welcome back to Healthy Living. My next guest is Marla Rabelais. Marla Rabelais is a child passenger safety technician for the St. Tammany Parenting Center, and she's also a health educator. She's got a bunch of other letters behind her name. We're not going to say that. It'll take the whole segment. So, Marla, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Amy. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So just tell us a little bit personally about you, Marla.
Actually, Amy, I'm a registered dietitian. That's some of those letters that are behind my name. I worked inpatient in the hospital for years and years and years, and I really enjoy community education. So when this opportunity came at the Parenting Center, that was like a chance for me to get back out into the community. I teach CPR. I became a child passenger safety technician. I teach nutrition. I work with the Covington Community Garden, doing education with kids in the garden. So I get to get out in the community and see people and interact, and that's what I really enjoy.
Sounds like you love what you do.
I do.
That's
I do.
great.
This has been a great job.
So we were just talking with Joe. You know, it's brutally hot outside. It's going to get hotter. We keep, you know, excessive heat warnings are just,
Absolutely.
the red flags are up everywhere.
Every day.
So you see a lot of parents and children all the time, every day in your job, and you, as a child passenger safety seat technician, you teach proper ways to install it. So with the heat the way it is right now, what are some things that we can talk to parents about as far as keeping their child comfortable in the car seat? Because, you know, we're all running around doing all kinds of
Doing
things.
all kinds of things.
And the summer's hot. We want to make sure that those kids are comfortable and safe. So what are some things you can talk about for parents?
We encourage parents, if the vehicle's been sitting for a while, to go ahead and go out there, turn on the AC, start getting it cooled down. Watch out for the buckles and straps. You know, all of these car seats have metal buckles and straps. You can throw an old towel in there so that if there's direct sunlight coming in, it doesn't heat up those metal buckles, because you don't want that touching the child's skin and burning them. And then people have a tendency to want to leave their kids in the car with the AC running. We don't recommend that. In Louisiana and nationwide, we have about 1 death per every 10 days with kids being left unattended in a vehicle that overheats. Even if the AC's on, you don't know if that's going to continue.
Right.
So we want to encourage parents never to leave that child alone in the car. And of course, we've had some deaths with parents being out of their normal routine. Maybe it was your turn to take the child to daycare, but you had this important interview you had to do, and you forgot, and the child fell asleep in the car, and they were left in the car. So we want parents to do things to remind themselves. And of course, the auto manufacturers have helped with this. They've developed a lot of warning things. If you put something in the back seat, when you stop your car, it gives you a bell or a signal to check the back seat.
That's helpful.
That's helpful. There's car seats that have clips that are Bluetooth to your phone. So if that, and work with the vehicle, if they're not unclipped within a certain period of time, you're going to get a message to your phone. Talking to your daycare provider, if my child's not there by 8:15, you know, my usual time, please call me.
Right.
If you don't get me, please call my spouse, my significant other, whoever else brings the child to daycare. So setting up some of these things, processes in place beforehand. And just for yourself, if you don't have the fancy car seat, if you don't have the car that alerts you, you can do things like taking a teddy bear and when it's the child's not in the seat, putting the teddy bear in the seat, and then when you place the child in the seat, take the teddy bear and put it up front with you.
Okay, so then when you look at the teddy bear, that should be a trigger.
That should be a trigger for you to check the back seat. A friend of mine used to take her left shoe off.
I've heard that one.
She took her left shoe off and put it in the back with the baby, and then that way when she got out, she only had one shoe. That triggered her to go check on the baby.
And I've heard people leave their handbags in the
Their
back seat.
handbags, as long as they're secure, because anything that's loose in your vehicle, and that brings up a good point as far as child passenger safety, anything that's loose in your vehicle is a projectile.
Okay.
And so if you're in an accident, that purse, that backpack, that Yeti cup is traveling at 50 miles an hour, or whatever the vehicle was traveling.
Yeah.
And that can injure you as well as your child. So securing all of those things, there's all kinds of, like all of the car manufacturers are coming out with the mesh straps and things, sticking stuff under the seat so it doesn't become a projectile. Those are all good ideas.
So the car heats up pretty quickly in the
The car heats up pretty quickly. SafeKids.org, and everybody can go on there and look at their videos online. There's tremendous amount of great safety information. They have a video, and a man was at a gas station. He's one of us. He was at a gas station and just was showing people how fast cars heat up. The ambient temperature, so the outside temperature, was 84 degrees. Mm-hmm. He was just talking like we are to a lady. In about 5 minutes, it went up to 119 degrees inside the car. So. And here in Louisiana, it's very rarely 84 degrees.
Yeah,
so
we're in the upper 90s.
We're in the upper 90s, so it's going to heat up tremendously.
What about so let's talk about, that is great advice. I love all the reminder tips that you've given, and I think that's helpful. And I think as we raise awareness of the dangers of it, because I don't know that a lot of parents, I don't remember, like, I know that I didn't leave my children in the car, and usually there was another adult with me,
another
right?
adult.
But I think that maybe sometimes parents think, oh, I'm just going to run in and grab whatever, even if they're in their driveway. And it can be dangerous.
It can be dangerous, and all of these vehicles now are electronic. Things can electronically
You can get
lock.
locked out.
You can get locked out.
Right.
There's just so many reasons not to leave them alone in the car.
Right. So let's talk about, we've kind of covered that, which is great. And let's talk about the comfort level of the actual child. Because, you know, you have a baby, you want to cover their feet, you want to cover their head, you want to cover this. What about in the summertime?
In the summertime, they don't need all of that. And the other thing about babies is they don't regulate their temperature like we do. Their temperature, it's a slower regulation. It's slower to cool off. So they don't need all of that.
Okay.
They don't need all of that even in the winter time. And I think we're going to talk about that a little bit too, about blankets and things at home.
Yeah.
But they don't need all of that. So you've got to make sure that whatever environment they're in, they're a little bit cooler than what feels comfortable to you.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, good. And they need to stay hydrated. Just
They
like
need to
we
stay
do.
hydrated.
How would you do that?
Even little babies, if they're being breastfed and all that, the weather that we've had the last few days, this extreme excessive heat, you still need to be giving them a little bit of water. We don't want them to fill up on water, but they still need to be given a little bit of water.
Okay. So let's move to our next topic, because I
Okay.
want to cover that before we have to wrap up. So in the same vein as keeping our babies safe in the car, we want to keep our babies safe at home. So very quickly, where is the best place for your baby to sleep and why?
ABC, Amy, easy to remember. Alone, on their back, and in their very own crib. They need to be on a firm, flat surface. They don't need anything around them, no blankets, no pillows, no stuffed animals. They need to be alone on their back in their very own crib. You can have the crib in the room with you, you can have it next to the bed, but you don't want to co-sleep. Here in St. Tammany, we've had recent incidents of some accidental asphyxiation, parents sleeping with children in the bed and accidentally rolling over on them and smothering them, and we want to prevent that. And our St. Tammany Parish Coroner's Office has a program called Cribs for Kids. If you can't afford a crib, if you will attend one of their safety presentations, they will provide you with a crib, your very own crib that is safe, that's been safety tested and everything, to put that baby alone on their back in the crib.
All right, now I wanted to make sure we got that in, because that is great information. Well, thank you so much, Marla, for joining us. Is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
The Parenting Center is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 1, for parents and kids to come in. We do potty training information. We do, that was last week, tons of information. We teach classes every month or every other month for new parents called Mommy and Daddy Boot Camp. And they're taught by veteran moms and dads, but they're younger. They're not veterans like we are, but they're younger. And it's a great way to spend a Saturday morning. The dads go, it's at the hospital. The dads are in one conference room, the moms are in the other. And it's everything that nobody tells you before you have this baby, kind of thing. What you need to know when you get home from the hospital.
And if you go to the Parenting Center, you will meet Marla and the rest of their wonderful teams. So thank you so much for
Thank you,
joining
Amy.
us.
Thanks
This was
for
great.
letting me get that information. The child safety is a big thing that's near and dear to my heart.
Well,
so
we
I
appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And thank you for joining us for this episode of Healthy Living. We'll see you next time.